It's a Tuesday.
Hello.
It's a
Welcome back.
Tuesday.
Welcome back to
Welcome back to
Nongwell.
Non-Wealth. Non-Wealth, you got Neo.
And you got Lebza.
Oh yeah, that's me. If you're confused for a bit, that's me, Lebza, and this is Neo,
and,
right?
and today we'll be talking about credit.
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 How much can you handle?
Credit.
Can you handle 10 Rand?
Credit.
Can you handle 10,000? Can you handle 1 million? Can you handle 1 billion? What is credit? We always hear about credit. Good credit, bad credit. So now what is credit? Credit rather. Let's look at credit in terms of how I understand it, right?
Okay.
So now credit is when a financial institution actually gives you money to actually pay off a particular thing, right? So now this could be a
When
credit
you're
card.
saying when you're saying money, are you saying that in sort of a loan terms, or it's money that I don't have or money that I do have? If you can just uh,
Elaborate on that, right?
elaborate on that.
So now when I'm saying is that money, it's money that you don't have at
Okay.
your possession right
Okay.
now. Then you'd have it once a credit facility is provided to you, right? This could be in terms of a credit card. This could be in terms of a loan. This could be also in terms of a home loan,
Okay.
right? So now that's how I understand credit.
Okay.
So now we go back to something that we just call the credit score. This is how your ratings, how a financial institution is able to see if they can actually borrow you money, right? This is you building a credit score.
With regards to credit, you should know that financial institutions have access to all companies. As we're looking at clothing companies and we're looking at your insurances, they do have access to that type of information, and that is where they check if you're paying or you're not paying on time.
Okay, for example, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I open up an account with ABC fashion store, right?
Okay,
And I have a credit facility with them, right?
okay.
So now I do not pay for the following month, right? And then I go open another account with DBE fashion store,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Would it be, would the DBE be able to see if I had actually not paid the previous fashion store?
I mean, they do have access. They do have access. Hence, once you start opening an account and then you manage it correctly, so you will be amazed that XYZ will start calling you the man. Hey man, how about you take this? How about you take this offer for shopping at at our store? We're giving you this amount of credit, and you'd ask yourself, how do they know about me? They actually have access to this information. So it is very important we emphasize that we manage our credit correctly. So
So now throughout your credit facilities, right? Be it is at a clothing store,
yeah,
be it is at a grocery store,
yeah,
be it is at a bank,
yeah.
just make sure that all your accounts are actually well managed.
And I mean, this is a true story. This is a true story. So once we finished school, we didn't have credit. And let me speak about me. I didn't want credit at all. And I was so happy that I'm not owing anybody money. But then now that actually works towards your disadvantage, because now once you start applying for a mortgage and then you don't have any credit management records of some sort, it actually work towards you, because bad in a negative manner, because now they'll be asking themselves, will this person manage to pay off the debt given to you? So now imagine now from 0 rand, managing 0 rand, to actually managing a mortgage loan. We're talking about your 700K, we're talking about one bars. So it's important to get credit. Don't be in that mindset that I had, that if I don't have credit, I'm actually the best. I don't owe anybody, so I'm actually well off.
Okay, so now, let's say, should we say that once you've started understanding that now that I need credit, how do I actually maintain or build my credit score?
I'll say that.
Okay,
I
so
would.
now how do we go about building our credit score? I feel like the first thing that we need to do is actually top up our credit facility. So now, for instance, I have a credit card, right? So now on my credit card, I have a credit limit. So now with this credit limit, what I do is that the money that I get, I put into my credit card,
Okay.
right? And then I use my credit card, right? So now it could be that my credit card is standing at a plus, right? Meaning that the bank owes me, and then I use the money that I have,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then what I do is that I'll use a piece of what the bank had actually offered me. So let's say I use 200 bucks from the money that the bank actually has. And then I make sure that that 200 bucks, I actually pay it back.
And a lot of people are actually playing the game wrong because it's not, credit is not always about negative. It can also be about positive, just like what Lego explained right now. You can top up and be on a positive note within your credit range, and then what you do, as he said, is that you just spend that little amount. That is actually a great strategy of using credit. And I'd like to emphasize something that credit institutions rate us differently. So one credit institution can, let's say the ratings out of 700, they can rate you 500, only to find out that we're talking about, okay, I just gave an example of a financial institution, from one financial institution, then you find a credit bureau institution rates you lower than the financial institution. So we need to be wary of that they do rate us differently. So now what we should do, we should actually dig deep with regards to top tips of improving our credit score.
To actually maintain my credit facility, right? So now the bank said, like, hey man, I'm offering you a credit facility of 1,000 rands, for example. Right? For example. So now the credit facility say, hey man, I'm offering you 1,000 rands worth of credit, right?
Yeah.
So now what I did is that I took that 1,000 rands, right? And then I made sure that I do not use above 50%. Right. So now 50% of 1,000 would be 500 bucks, right? So now I would use this 500 bucks, right? And then when I get paid, I actually pay off that 250 bucks, right? And then on a monthly basis, then I start paying down the 250 rand. So now that is how I actually went about to maintain my credit facility. Do you have any other things that you actually
Yes,
used to actually maintain your credit facility?
just to further elaborate, we kept it at a 25% margin. So we kept on using it regularly on a regular basis. However, we made sure that it stays at the 25% margin rate. And then secondly, what we also did was do the stop order. The stop order to prevent us from forgetting. You know that there's so many things happening in this world, the good and the bad. Now, we didn't want to get overexcited and forget about our credit facilities, and we implemented the stop order so that we know for sure that on this particular date company ABC will take their money, on this particular date company BCD will take their money, and we won't fall in errands because, as we said, it is flagged and it will be seen by other institutions in the near future if we do not comply to the rules and regulations.
Another problem that I had when I was first being introduced into this credit facility is that everyone would call me, hey man, come, we want to offer you this account, right? And then I got so excited that I started opening up accounts with everybody, right? Not knowing that this would actually harm me. So now the first thing that I did is that I scaled down in terms of my credit cards, how many credit cards that I had, and actually opening accounts on a month-to-month basis, right? It actually hurts your credit score. And if I do not use a certain credit facility, I make sure that I close it down, right? Because now if you have a credit facility that you don't actually use, it actually hurts you in the long run with regards to your credit score. You might be paying off your debt, but now if you have a credit facility that you do not use at all, it actually hurts your credit score.
Credit. When I hear credit, I smile because credit gives me hope. Credit gives me so much hope. Let me give you a practical examples. We were with one of our cousins. He was purchasing a couch. So now we went to a particular store, which was last week. We went to a store and then he saw this couch that he fell in love with. And then he was like, okay, what are your financing options? and then you could see that they gave him a financing option and he'd be paying this particular amount of credit for 3 years. It was for 3 years. And now when you look at after 3 years how much the guy would have paid, it's something like 3 times the amount of that couch if he bought it cash.
Okay.
Now, why I'm saying when I hear credit, I get so excited, especially if you do know how to use it correctly. I would compare the price of that credit from that particular score with maybe my financial institution. I'll go to my financial institution. I'll be like, hey, I need a loan of some sort. And they'll be like, okay, you need to pay us 14% interest by this year. Maybe let's say at the end of the third year. If I go that way, that means I would have saved so much. Instead of paying the 3 times amount of that couch, I actually paid a loan a loan whereby the interest rate was about 14%. So it gives me that flexibility so that I can maneuver.
What you're saying is true. What you're saying is true because now you find that at your different credit facilities, they actually offer you different interest rates, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
now, let's say for example at XYZ institution, right? They want to offer you couches, for example, right? And they're saying that their interest rates are 13%, right? 13%.
Yeah.
And then you go to your credit card that you actually have right now, and you see that your credit card actually says that you have 3 months, right? Mostly it says 55 days, 55 days of interest free, right? So now you can actually use your credit facility, and they also say that it's 12%, right? So now it would be better to use your credit facility, your credit card, other than your XYZ credit facility.
And now this is linked to a topic that we had of interest. I mean, we need to understand if that particular company is charging us compound interest annually, or because you just hear 14% sometimes and you get excited, oh yes, they'll be charging me 14% of interest, only to find out the 14% is monthly, only to find out the 14% is biannually. So now if you don't know your mathematics, it will actually catch up to you. So it's very important, guys. I'd like to emphasize that it's important. Mathematics is important in this game if you want to take strategic choices.
So now I have a question, right?
Yeah.
When do you actually start going for a credit facility?
Man, if you don't have credit facilities or you're not using them, I'd advise you to take it right now. Like as soon as we're done with this video, I should order you a taxi and then you should go open it now.
Now would be the best part, right?
Yeah.
So now what are the benefits of actually having a credit facility? I think we had touched on one of them, being that you are able to actually compare between two credit facilities. Because now if you only have one credit facility, right, you're actually forced to take that particular credit facility. Whereas if you have another credit facility, you can actually compare that, okay, this one says 15% and then this one says 14.5. But now this one might be 14.5 compounded interest and this one might be 15% simple interest. It goes back to knowing your mathematics.
The dangers of only having one is that if you're too excited, I mean, it does happen to everybody. I mean, let's say I'm about to get a car and I'm using credit facilities. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And then the interest rate is ridiculous. The last thing that I'm looking at is interest rate. Because now what I'm looking at is just getting the approval for that car or the approval for that house.
Yeah.
So if I do not have that option of credit, I'll rather act, my judgment will be emotional rather than rational.
Yeah.
Because I just went with my feelings. I was so excited about getting that house. I was so excited about getting that car, I mean.
Okay. So now the benefits, what are the benefits of having an actual credit facility?
The benefits, they all boil down to having the best deals.
Okay, so now you get the best credit cards, right?
Yes.
You get the best loans, right? You also get the best mortgage deals.
What are we referring to when we're saying you get the best? We're talking about low interest rates. Because now if you've been handling your credit for a long time and you've been handling it quite good, the banks would rather they'd regard you as you're not high risk because they've seen that you've been managing for this amount of time quite well. So interest rates will not be as high as somebody who just started managing their managing their credit because they will be identified as high risks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So that was with credit, right?
And there's so much more that we need to discuss about credit, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, darn, yeah, credit.
On a Tuesday.
Credit gives us flexibility.
Oh yeah, flexibility. So make sure that, I don't have a credit facility, right?
Man, I'm taking you there right now.
We need to go there right now. Non-Wealth signing out.